Hello everybody and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today will be my trailer breakdown for the final trailer of Fear the Walking Dead's final season. And wow, it looks amazing. It is so weird how Fear can have these amazing trailers and then the episodes are mid. I am really hopeful for these last 6 episodes. I cannot believe how great the trailer is, and I'm a bit sad it's ending. I'm really looking forward to the ending of Fear. I know some people really dislike Fear, but for some reason I really enjoy it. I think it's because I'm used to watching really bad TV, so Fear is like kind of the king of the trash for me. I just have some mixed feelings with the way this is ending. I'm a bit excited yet sad at the same time. I'm looking forwards to the ending of Fear more than I looked forward to the end of The Walking Dead. So I've got some very mixed feelings about the final season of Fear. But let's jump right into the trailer. And the trailer starts with these people talking to Strand about Madison. So it looks like that's how Strand's been brought into it. He's off trying to live his own life with his child. We know Strand has a child now. Adopted, of course. Because it'd be very weird that he now has a teenage child and it's only been 7 years time jump. So we have Strand, and it looks like people go off to find Strand, so they get sent off to go and find Madison. It's a bit like the crowd going to find Maggie so that Maggie can go find Negan. That's what it kind of feels like. So Strand knows Madison's alive before meeting her, and it probably is going to be in episode 7 when this all happens. And episode 7 is going to be a Strand episode. It's going to start with Strand living his happy life with his child. Some people come up being like, oh, you need to go find Madison. He goes to try and find Madison to help her, and they get captured. By the end of the episode, the big reveal for Madison and Strand would be that the people that are hunting down Madison are Troy's men, and that's when Madison will find out he has Alicia's arm. And that's really what I think episode 7 would be. It's going to be this slow build up to who's sending people after Madison, who is this, and then bam, Troy right at the end of the episode. I don't think it's going to be a mid-episode thing. I think it's going to be right at the end we find out Troy is returned, even though we know this now, but that's when Madison's going to find out. And this trailer paints pretty clearly that Troy's the main villain. So all those people saying, no, Troy's going to be a good guy, maybe he's going to survive, so he's going to have a spin-off. Nah, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like they're painting Troy to be a main villain. This entire trailer is about Troy hunting down Madison so he can take Padre from her, and that he can take everything from Padre. He's taunting Madison with Alicia's arm. That's the whole point of Troy this season, to take revenge. And the whole thing's about Troy having this massive army and Troy having this bigger force, and there's this overwhelming power in this trailer. That's what they're presenting Troy as, this overwhelming power, and Madison's having to gather what she can to defend Padre from Troy. And it seems like Troy has the army of the dead, so it looks like walkers will be a big factor in this final 6 episodes, which is quite cool. The only time we have seen villains use walkers as part of their army are probably the Whisperers, and I can't think of a single time on Fear where the villains have actively used walkers to attack. I know in Fear we've had Strand in season 7 use the walkers as a defensive mechanism, as a moat. The only other character I can think about that uses walkers is Troy. He used them in season 3. And again in season 8, so it's really good to see the walkers have a big role in these final 6 episodes. And it is a zombie show again, not just a show with 2 factions fighting each other like it is a lot of time in the Walking Dead universe. So then instead of man versus man conflict, we are going to get Padre against a giant walker horde. And for me, that's way more interesting, because we came to this franchise to see zombies and our people surviving against them, not 2 random factions battling constantly. And it has some variation with us having walkers be a big threat again, and hopefully they are, because it does look like in this trailer walkers will be a big threat. It makes it slightly different to the constant faction 1 fights faction 2, big fight between 2 factions shooting under cover with infinite ammo. So hopefully this is done well. And in the trailer we see the return of the SWAT car, which is very interesting. We see it shooting walkers, but I assume it will be on Troy's side. So Troy is traveling across south of the country. He's picking up all these parts of the Clarks and the group. So he's picking up Al's car, he's got Alicia's arm. I wonder what else he has got from the previous seasons. We see that June now has her pistols back. Is that because of Troy? Or is that she just found it in Padre? Because she never had it in the first 6 episodes. So we are getting some iconic Fear props returning for these final 6 episodes. And it really does feel like Fear again. Like watching this trailer, I'm sitting there like, it does feel like Fear. It doesn't feel like this cheap Walking Dead spin-off. It feels like Fear again because you have a lot of the Fear characters returning. Part 1 of Fear really focused on the newer characters and the crossover characters. And Part 2, we see Strand return. We have Luciana return too, and she doesn't really do much in this trailer other than mention that she's got people to protect. So it looks like Luciana is now a leader in her own right, and she has her own community that maybe mixes in with Padre as the season goes by. This trailer also gives a lot to Daniel, so it's like we're going to get so much more Daniel in these last 6 episodes, which is great because since the new showrunners came on, they have really been sidelining Daniel. He wasn't in season 4. Season 5 was a bit in there, but season 6 and 7 he really did nothing. He was a bit better in season 8A, so it looks like they continue with this better Daniel. I do also want to talk about Dwight and Sherry because they do get a lot in this trailer, and it looks like Dwight and Sherry will be going back to Virginia because we do get some sets in this trailer. We see Dwight and Sherry outside their old house in Virginia with June, so it looks like there will be an episode about Dwight and Sherry and June going back to Virginia, because we do see a shot which looks like they're in the sanctuary. It looks a little different. However, the sanctuary set has been torn down, so this is obviously a recreation. So it looks like we're gonna get one episode is about Strand finding Madison, that's episode 7, and maybe episode 8, I don't see it being later in the season, or episode 9, will be about June, Dwight, and Sherry going back to Virginia and dealing with Dwight and Sherry's past. We don't see any bits with June near the sanctuary, so you do get one shot which looks like the sanctuary, but it's just Dwight and Sherry. We only see June outside Dwight and Sherry's house. So maybe the whole reason Dwight and Sherry come back is because of June, because they are back in Georgia in some of the shots with Padre and everything like that. So it looks like Dwight and Sherry go off to Virginia and maybe June brings them back, and June's like, okay, this is your past, but we're your future. Come back and be a part of Padre. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe June have a very small role. She just follows them back to Virginia and goes, oi, you're getting way too close to The Walking Dead. Well, you cannot be here because you're not in the final season of The Walking Dead. Come back to Georgia to come and finish off Fear. That's what I think is going to happen. That's probably the only reason Dwight and Sherry come back from Virginia. If it is going to be a hallucination episode for Dwight, and that's how we see Dwight's old house in Virginia, and that's how we see the sanctuary, that would be so dumb. I generally do think they are heading to Virginia. You're just going to have June bring them back. Another shot I do want to talk about is Madison holding this can. She looks at it and puts it on the side. I generally think that's Nick's ashes. I think Troy went to Texas, dug up Nick and burnt him. We know Troy really liked Nick, and maybe this is Troy's sadistic way of having Nick with him at all times. And maybe by the end of episode 7, Madison steals the bag, gets Alicia's arm, and then finds Nick's ashes. That's what I think could be, because she does look at this random little crate. And I'm like, what's the point of this can? You're going to have something, like, valuable with it. And the first thing came to mind, Nick's ashes. Maybe Troy just dug them up. It could just be all the way out there and not even, like, feasible at all. But imagine if it's something weird like that. We find out, oh wait, it's Nick's ashes. And that'd be so funny if I called it, like, oh yeah, Nick's now in a can. Two other things I do want to quickly mention. One is we see this little girl, and the same girl that Madison is talking to. And Madison's saying, where is my daughter? Where is she? So, maybe in episode 7, Troy mentions that he didn't kill Alicia. This is just kind of put in the air that we're going to find out what happens to Alicia in this season. Did she die or did she not? And with Troy saying that maybe she's not dead, Madison's now on this mission to try and find Alicia. That's what it makes it seem like. And it sets up a reunion, this trailer is. And that little girl, straight up, that's Troy's daughter. We have rumours that Troy will have a daughter. So I think the little girl that we see Madison talking to is Troy. So Madison basically abducts Troy's daughter or something like that. Or there's a time jump and Madison is saying, where is my daughter? Where is she? Talking about Dove, because that could be something like that. And I definitely think that's something the showrunners would do. Madison quickly adopts Dove, who doesn't have any parents. Dove is perfectly set up to become a surrogate daughter to Madison. And we don't know if there's a time jump or not. So there could be a time jump. And that could be it. And maybe we're all thinking about, oh yeah, Alicia, where's my daughter? That could be a misdirect. And more than thinking about it, yeah, that is not about Alicia. When Madison's talking about where's my daughter, she's definitely talking about Dove, not Alicia. That's what I believe. So ignore all my thing about maybe we're going to get a Madison and Alicia set up. No, that's what they want us to think. I'm playing 4D chess here. that is definitely the showrun's been like, oh yeah, we're talking about Dove, but we're going to frame it so it looks like we're talking about Madison's actual daughter, Alicia. We also get a few shots of snow, air quotes, but the more I think about it and the more I'm watching and rewatching these little clips, it looks more like it could be ash, because in the trailer we do also see a lot of fire scenes. So maybe Troy likes fire to the swamp or something like that. I do not think they're going to Texas and that is all Fallout, because that's my original thing. Oh, Alicia is in Texas. Madison's gone back to Texas to find Alicia, and there's now fallout going to the ground, and that's why they're walking around. I think it's just ash, because we do see our characters just wearing normal clothes. They are not wearing winter clothes that you think they would wear if it's snow. I think it's just ash from after a big battle in the swamp where Troy or Sykes happened, and there was a big fire, and that's what I think has happened. I do not think it is snow. It just doesn't look as snow-like to me, because we know what snow looks like in The Walking Dead. And is this some pretty bad snow? Because you don't see our characters wearing snowy clothes. I might be just picking like tiny minuscule things out and they make no sense. I don't know what you think. Are you thinking I'm over-analysing this shot just because characters aren't wearing snowy clothes? Now the final thing I do want to talk about is the ending, and it really does make it look like that Madison dies. I really hope they do not bring her back just to kill her. We get a shot with Madison in the underground part of Padre, surrounded by walkers. We see it hit something in a big explosion. I really hope they just didn't tease Madison's death. They did tease or kind of spoil Grace's death in the last trailer with the Moran Grace turned thing in that trailer. And we're like, oh no, that's all a dream sequence. No, it actually happened. So I wouldn't put them past it being like, oh yeah, we just teased Madison's death and it's so in our face. We're being like, oh, that doesn't happen. I really hope they don't. There's some cool other shots right at the end. We have some cool fights. We have Strand saying, can I like this, can I like this. So something drastic is happening, and we see Sherry just kind of get fell on, like she's climbing a wall, walkers are climbing the fence, and the fence just falls on her. I don't know how she's gonna get out of that, but I definitely do believe Sherry is gonna die, and I kind of hope she dies because she really is pulling back Dwight. I feel like Dwight's character progression is halted by Sherry's existence, and they should have killed off Sherry, not Finch. So I hope they kill Sherry, and I hope Madison didn't just get teased to die in this trailer. But please tell me down below, what did you think about this trailer? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And do you feel I missed anything in the trailer? Or was I too thorough and I was picking things that didn't count and they weren't really there? I just know all your thoughts down below. But that's it for me today. So goodbye, peace out, and I'll see you in my next video.